I really miss my channel being small. That way I could just talk to everybody, basically one-on-one. So I've decided that's what I'm going to do today. I miss my small channel. And so I haven't posted here on Celestial Voyages in a while. And so that's what I'm going to do today. And I'm not going to mention this video on my other channel. I just want those of you who've taken the time to come to my backup channel in case my other one goes down. So I'm going to post here for my smaller class. I only have 350 subs here, and I doubt very many of them will even see this video, and that's okay with me. I'm here for those of you who actually want to learn something, who actually understand what I'm talking about or are trying to understand. So for those of you who are really looking and really searching, I'm going to start posting on this channel without telling anybody. And we'll just see how many of you find it. Let's go to Stellarium and get this ball rolling. I absolutely love turning on Stellarium, and there's Fomalhaut. We have the Sun in Taurus, and Mercury is totally combust of the Sun. I can't even believe I'm making a video with Mercury this combust. Maybe that's why I'm making it for this channel and not the other one. We've talked about Mars being here and what he's like when he's on that mutable cross. He becomes bipolar. He becomes from one extreme to the other. Our root chakra, unstable. The mutable cross is very unstable, but it's where the transmutation occurs. The transmutation occurs on the mutable cross. That's why this age is so important where we're at now, because we're coming into a time that's fixed and there'll be no change. As the mutable cross is unstable, the fixed cross is more than stable. It's immovable, unshakable. That's the way the Nag Hammadi describes it. I want you all to get used to the terminology that I use, that the Bible uses, that the Nag Hammadi uses. And you will start to see the difference between the three crosses. The cardinal cross has names like the Almighty, the Most High. That's cardinal. It's the Grand Master. You have the Adept, where the transmutation happens. The change happens to the Adept. They must adapt. They must overcome. And that's what we're doing here. This is what this is about. The mutable cross is about adaptation and overcoming. And to do that, you must come over. To come over, you must first understand or stand under and look up. Then you can come over. I want to train your brains to think in a different way. I want to be able to train your brain to hear with your eyes and to see with your ears. When I look at Stellarium in the images and I lock on to my root chakra and I drag it into Gemini, and I can feel how unstable it is, but I can also feel the change. I can feel either destruction or growth. This can go either way. Everything here is duality anyway. But when you hit that mutable cross, the signs of duality are just there. The dualism of Gemini, the two fish of Pisces, the man horse, or what I call the horse's ass here in Sagittarius. And then Virgo, she has the baby. She's the mother, she's the child. It's duality. And we feel it most intensely on the mutable cross. The tree of knowledge of good and evil. It's one tree, and it's the tree of duality. It is the yin-yang. It's one symbol, one tree. And to me, that totally represents the mutable cross. Again, this is where the adaptation, the adept, has to adapt and overcome. And that's what you're told to do. And we are to overcome the age of water. This is water world. Pink Floyd said, "We live in a fishbowl. Wish you were here." Just living in a fishbowl year after year, running over the same old ground. Have you found the same old fears? Wish you were here. Well, we are here. This is where we are. We are at the end of the fish and headed into the master. We couldn't be at a more crucial time in all of history. And in the entirety of the circle and all of the stories that have ever been told, the one that is told the most is the one about our time right now. And it's the changing of the ages from water to air, entering into the golden age, the two ages that are one. You see, they've tried to mimic this. This was the big controversy with Quetzalcoatl, because it was the feathered serpent. It is water and air. It's trying to mimic this. This has all happened before, and it will all happen again. But the variables are different each time. I got a question the other day on my channel. A long-time subscriber, one that should be watching this video, and probably will. And I did not respond to the question there, so I'm going to respond to it here. They gave me their quick one-liner, gave me their birth date, and asked me, was there anything significant to that date? The date is for tomorrow, 5/22. And that would be their birthday. Happy birthday. My favorite prepper. All right. So, is there any significance to 5/22? Yep. There's a significance to every single day, to every single cross, to every breath, every moment. Somebody is being born and somebody is dying. Somebody is picking up their cross and somebody is laying it down. So yes, it is very significant to the person that should be carrying it. My biggest point of starting my channel into astrology was really not to do people's charts. It was simply to put you on the wrong cross, to put you on the correct cross, because you'd been on the wrong cross. When I realized what they had done to the languages, and then to religion, astrology, and I realized everybody's been double-crossed. How can we possibly know the truth? There's nothing they have not lied about. You must question everything, especially those in authority who are giving you information, and that includes me. Let me tell you something about this circle and those books, especially the Bible. That thing is alive. More than the scribes who wrote it, no. To me, it's written by men. It's written by Babylonian scribes that have specifically encoded it so they could understand it throughout the ages. No matter how many translations it goes through, the symbolism remains the same. You need to learn to hear with your eyes. When I look at Gemini, this one symbol tells me a huge story. This is the symbol of Jacob and Esau. This is the Esau's the firstborn. Jacob takes the reins. It's all about Mercury. Everything in this age really is, truly. This age is ruled by Jupiter and Mercury, which are desire. And it's supposed to be logic and reason, right? Belief system in your logic and reason. And it couldn't be more chaotic. They have spent 2,000 years, the priesthood has spent 2,000 years over here dividing everything, creating new religions, changing them, retranslating them, and they do it to control the people and to remain in power. And they have done so for a very, very, very long time. But the division, now it's a time where we must come into one. When you change from one age to the other, you don't have division. Everything is consolidated into one. And that's what they're trying to do. With the Twin Towers, they took down there was a debate because they know the two must become one. And there's more than one way to do that, to make the two one. To start with, you can do what they did, tear them down, slam them together, and it looks like one is shoved in the top of the other. Or you make a crossbar. The first idea was to make the crossbar a bridge that connected the two towers. So now it looks like the letter H. And that's the way it was done by Quetzalcoatl. We see that huge double pillar with the bar all over South America, the land of the feathered serpent. And that's not its origin. The feathered serpent's origin is in China, what we would call China today. And it migrated to the Americas during its apex. That's why in South America and on the the West Coast, the Native American bloodlines have the Oriental flavor. They have a more yellow instead of red skin, and their eyes are slanted. When you get into deep South America, you get almost an aboriginal flavor to the natives. They like bread with the blacks. And then from Micronesia across from India, you get a more pure, what you call red blood. And that's going to be in the Guatemala, down to Venezuela, that area, Central America. And then on the East Coast, you get, again, another aboriginal black flavor, that they call them the Toltecs, and Olmecs. From Africa. And then in the northern part, the natives were bred with the Europeans and the Middle Easterners. You can see it. You can see it in their hooked noses. You can see it in their elongated faces, to where the West Coast, they have the more round moon face, like the Oriental people do. So this has all happened before. But now the tables are turned. This table turns. You know, they squared the circle. King Arthur had the Knights of the Round Table. There is no head of the table. The head of the table is the same thing as the phallic of Osiris. It's the power structure. It's the source. But it's the source of the masculine axis. We have been on a feminine axis for over 2,000 years. That's why all the priests wear dresses. The priesthood belongs to the cardinal cross. The kingship belongs to the fixed cross. And these are the bankers. They make the dough. The butcher, the baker, and the candlestick maker. The three crosses. This Mars here is in big trouble. We're all in big trouble here because of the K2 Rahu positionings with Pluto retrograde with Saturn. You have to understand about a Saturn retrograde. The gloves come off. It's no holds barred. Saturn is about restriction. He's about limitations. So when he goes retrograde, it's like it's like the teacher in the classroom that turns their back so the kid can intentionally act up. Right? The teacher walks out of the room just to see what the kids are going to do. That's what Saturn's doing. He's giving them enough rope to hang themselves. He's giving us enough rope to hang ourselves. What you going to do? You think you're not being seen. It's like the Babylonian priesthood. We're told in Ezekiel and a lot of other books that they have this saying that God can't see us. Nobody knows what we're doing in secret. But that's not true. I think they know that now. I think they're quite aware now that there is nothing secret. There's nothing secret that will not be revealed. When we come into Aquarius, every question you could ever want answered will be answered. You can have that now. The kingdom is now. This is one thing I've learned about picking up my cross and carrying it. The kingdom is now. We have heaven and hell right here on earth. It's just which path do you choose to walk? The thing about these two ages that we're stuck between. Paul said, I'm in this world, but I'm not of it. I'm in the age of the mutable cross, but I'm not of that world. I'm of cardinal earth. I'm Capricorn. I'm not mutable. I'm not transmutable. But I have to make myself. I have to go through the transmutations just like everybody else does. Christ said that there's nothing you suffer that I have not. The Son of Man suffers the same thing. We all born, we breathe, we cry, we die. To me, birth is death and death is birth. They've created Saturn to be this god of death. In the Greek mythology, Saturn is not the god of death. That belonged to Hades, and actually a couple of others, depending on which story you listen to. But Kronos is the father of time, and all things are within time. You can't kill time. Jupiter, desire, and belief was the offspring of time. Kronos. Jupiter. And Jupiter gives us space and location. He gives us expansion and empire. As Saturn, time, draws all things back into itself. Aquarius and Capricorn. We all come here for a purpose. If you were born on the mutable cross, you've come here to become the master. If you were born on the fixed cross, you are here to become the grand master. If you were born on the cardinal cross, you are here to lead. Whether that be water, earth, air, or fire. I keep getting drawn back to Mars because he's the fuse here. This is the fuse for what's going on. I have this exact lineup of Rahu and Ketu in my natal chart. Not with Saturn and Mars. I have Saturn and Mars both in my first house, with Rahu and Ketu and Gemini and Sagittarius on the mutable cross. That is your past and your future. And it's in the house of Hermetics and philosophy. This is all about ideology. This is all about taming the emotions hermetically, or this fuse is going to get lit and blow up in your face hard, because Saturn is retrograde. He's going to give you enough rope to hang yourself. Don't do it. Depression can be off the charts. People will definitely be contemplating suicide. You know, and I don't. I've tried to kill myself several times. You're not going to go until it's your time. If you do, you're just going to be quickly recycled into a situation that will force you into dealing with the same issues you're not dealing with now. So there's no sense in it. Secondly, when you get to that point to where you're ready to check out, clock out, you're almost home. You're so close to opening your third eye. Just simply surrender. You don't have to pull the trigger. Just give up. Just lose the will to breathe. Surrender it all. All of it. All the possessions, all the dreams, all the hopes, all the desires. You start with Mars, the root chakra, and you just detach yourself emotionally. Move to Jupiter. Your desires and your beliefs. Let go. Then you move to the solar plexus, where there's the sun and the moon, your power sources. Just become like the little doll where you push the button on the bottom and it collapses. It's got all the strings in it. You push the bottom and the doll just lays down. That's what you need to do. Just freaking surrender. Give up. No power. It's literally throwing yourself at the foot of the cross. Leo, that lion. John, the beloved, in confusion, throwing himself at the foot of the cross. I can't talk enough about John. When we say Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, to me, we're talking about water, really earth, fire, air, and water and air. John is air. He talks everything in a spiritual level. There are 4 different languages: earth, water, fire, and air. We know about the fire languages. They are the Arabian languages, the Hebrew languages. They're given to us from the age of fire. We're in the age of water. The age of air, spoken symbolism. It's hermetics. It was the age of Gemini. It's the age of the hieroglyphs. The age of Thoth, the emerald tablets. The age of Buddha. The age of Hermes. But John gives us, he speaks in spiritual terms. The Word became flesh and dwelt among us. The word or the symbol or the logo became flesh and dwells within us. It's not among us. It's within us. If thine eye be single, the whole body will be full of light. The book of the Gospel of John, the books of John and Revelations in the Bible, and the teachings of John in the Nag Hammadi. The syntax, the way it's written, all in what I call air language, spiritual language, tells me, yes, I can identify who wrote what. I can identify Paul's writings. You can throw verses at me. You can throw anything at me out of the Nag Hammadi, and I can tell you, is this, which priesthood wrote this? If it's earth, water, air, or fire, then you know what age it came from. Then you know what part of the world it came from. Then you know what priesthood it really came from. Unfortunately, in our age, the Babylonian priesthood that came out of the age of fire corrupted everything here. Everything has been corrupted. It's called Zionism. It's not Judaism and it's not Christianity. It's something completely different. It's anti-God. It's economically based. It's a financial, religious belief system, instead an economic one, instead of being under God. The Zionists truly believe God is dead. They are what we call atheists. Their God is money. That's where the power is in this construct. That's how it's been set up. When all that's fixing to come down, you know, when you're at that breaking point and you've made it past the sun and the moon in your solar plexus and you've dropped that, then we come to the heart. Dropping the sun and the moon is letting go and realizing you give up your power. That it's not me, but he that is within me. Of myself I do nothing. That's letting go of the power, letting go of the control. Stop trying to make the decision or the choice. Just quit. It's like quitting your job. Just freaking walk out the door. Just quit. And then you come to the heart chakra, Venus. That's the hardest one to pass. That's the door you have to get past. The thalamus is connected to the heart. No man comes to the Father but by me. The thalamus in the heart is connected to the hypothalamus in the brain that triggers the pineal gland. And the heart's the heart. No man comes to me. I want a broken and a contrite heart. Let's go there. I've done this one before, but I want to do it again. Have mercy upon me, O God, according to thy loving kindness, according unto the multitude of thy tender mercies, blot out my transgressions. Wash me thoroughly from mine iniquity, and cleanse me from my sin. For I acknowledge my transgression, and my sin is ever before me. Against thee only have I sinned, and done this evil in thy sight, that thou mightest be justified when thou speakest, and be clear when thou judgest. Behold, I was shapen in iniquity, in sin did my mother conceive me. Behold, thou desirest truth in the inward parts, and in the hidden parts thou shalt make me to know wisdom. Purge me with hyssop, and I shall be clean. Wash me, and I shall be whiter than snow. Make me to hear joy and gladness, that the bones which thou hast broken may rejoice. Hide thy face from my sins, and blot out all mine iniquities. Create in me a clean heart, and renew a right spirit within me. Cast me not away from thy presence, and take not thy Holy Spirit from me. Restore unto me the joy of thy salvation, and uphold me with thy free spirit. Then I will teach the transgressors thy ways, and sinners shall be converted unto thee. Deliver me from blood guiltness, O God, thou God of my salvation, and my tongue shall sing aloud of thy righteousness. O Lord, open my lips, and my mouth shall show forth thy praise. For thou desirest not sacrifice, else I would give it. Thou delightest not in burnt offerings. The sacrifices of God are a broken spirit, a broken and a contrite heart. O God, thou wilt not despise. That's the most powerful. Psalm 51:17 is the most powerful verse that you could use to understand how to get past the heart chakra, to open the third eye. What triggers the heart chakra? It's a broken spirit. You're suicidal. Your Mars is done. And then you've made it you've given up. You've made it past desires and beliefs. You've made it past that you're in control and it's your power. There is only one sacrifice. It's the broken spirit that leads to a contrite heart. Let's go there. Come on. A broken and a feeling or expressing remorse or penitence affected by guilt. Because I did it my way. Yep, no more our way. Translations and word origins from the Latin and the Old French. Past participle, grind down, wear away. And that's what life does to us. It grinds down your heart and your spirit. It just crushes you till you're nothing. And when you're nothing, that's when it happens. You don't have to pull the trigger. Just fucking surrender. I just flung myself on the ground. I'd had enough. I didn't want any more. I only wanted one thing. Out. That's it. I want no part of this existence. I don't want your air, your food, your water, your dirt, your body, your thoughts, your construct, your illusions, your delusions. I don't want the bad or the good. It's not worth it. That's where I was at. And that's where you're going to have to be at too. Just grind down. A millstone that's just grind down to nothing. Wear away. And I was just a child. I didn't have a lot of desires. I didn't have a lot to let go of. The point was, I had nothing to hang on to. Nothing. I was at the end of my rope, and I just let go. Let's go back to Stellarium. So simply, emotionally, just let go. Don't respond. Don't react. If somebody screams in your face, just stand there. Just let the words pass by you. Just walk into that place. Find that place to where you can just let it pass through you. Like you're not even there. Don't be emotionally affected. You're going to be triggered. But the teacher's not in the classroom right now. It's in an uproar. Saturn is retrograde with Pluto. So what we need to be... Pluto retrograde. People are going to be winning arguments they don't deserve to win. But that's okay. That'll be rectified when Saturn turns around. You think you're not being watched. You think nobody sees. There's nothing that's not being recorded by your higher self and what we would call Akashic records all the time. Number one, you were written before you were ever born. You're in the stars. You're projected down here into these bodies. The earth is the stage. The stars are the lights, the projectors, the storyline. They emit frequencies and impulses that affect the sun, that affects us. Actually, the sun affects the earth, and the earth affects us. We're affected by mutable earth, Virgo. This is where we're at right now. As Moses told the people to look up on the fiery serpent on the pole, so the age of Pisces has to look at the woman on the pole. And the woman on the pole is the whore of Babylon. She's in confusion. Babylon, whore. That's where they get that from. And indeed, it is Rome, as the age of fire was Babylon and Jerusalem with the serpent. Then this age is the whore of Babylon. Then we move into the true age of the Sun Kings. When we had it opposite with Leo in the east and Aquarius in the west on the spring equinox. Then we had the kings of the earth. now we move into the time of the King of Heaven, which is quite different. It's not going to be these earthly kings, but in this age we will have to look up to Leo, to Regulus, to his feet, to this is John the Beloved. He speaks a spiritual language because he's speaking what's above him, Aquarius. But we will learn the sun is a portal. Everybody will be taught how this is how we get here. We'll learn all the wisdom and knowledge of the sun. I know quite a bit about the sun. You do too. You simply do not remember. But the sun puts us in the bodies that we're in. It's the master control program in this construct. We travel through the sun as light beings on his rays and come into the body. He's a portal, but a living entity. The moon is a portal, but a living entity. And they are without and they are within us. The moon and the sun are plugged into our solar plexus. Mars is plugged into our root chakra. Venus is plugged into our heart chakra. Venus is in fire right now. Cardinal fire. This is the fire of purification. She rules the other end of this. She's that serpent on the pole. She can heal you from what's going on here in Egypt. See, they had been lied to here. The serpents are the knowledge of Egypt that the Hebrews, the slaves, were bitten by. And they were told that it was all about Orion, when actually the pyramids are all about Fomalhaut. So to be healed of that, they had to look to Venus, the fiery serpent on the pole, which is the hidden knowledge of the heavens. It's not astrology, and it's not alchemy, and it's not hermetics. It is that hidden wisdom of harmony and balance, as above, so below. That's why all the architecture around the world depicts this from this age. And that's what they needed to come out of that corrupted knowledge that the pyramids are, and the Sphinx are a construct of the age of Taurus, when it's clearly the lion man. It comes from before the flood, the true age of Babylon or confusion, the true age of, actually, this is the age, for it to be the age of the sun, it was the age of complete darkness, because the sun rose in the age that it was in, so that projected Saturn above. It is Mercury that rules Gemini, that is the builder of civilizations. It is logic, intellect, navigation, communication, and commerce that builds civilizations. And that is Mercury. And Mercury rises and he falls. And in this, he's always mutable. He's always on the mutable cross. Right now, he is risen. Right? He's above. He's in mutable earth, the miry clay. Adam was made of miry clay. This is logic, intellect. It's also the whore of Babylon from the perspective of this age. They show you the woman with the baby and tell you that's Mother Mary. No, it's not. It's the woman with the alabaster box. And she was a prostitute. And she had a bastard child. And this is also in the book of Revelation. The woman who had the child who was to rule with the rod of iron, and he was caught up in the heavens for a Gemini for a time and half a time from the face of the beast. Well, the time is up. He's all about the face of the beast. Now we're at the time where the earth opens her mouth. The flood is sent after the woman. A flood is immigration. Floods are people. And it's always done that way. But that's where we're at now. We're at the flooding. But the earth will open her mouth. The earth will open. I don't know why I said mouth. But that's going to be here. Capricorn, North America. Africa. Believe it or not, in the original age, this was Australia. This was the original Aboriginal people. They do the water dance. They do the water thing. The Native Americans, the air symbols, they always do the wind instruments. That's why Pan has a flute, because he's telling you it's a wind instrument. It's air power, pneumatics. Wind instruments, they have reeds. Reed. You have to learn to read. It's going to be a new kind of reed. But I think the focus here right now in this video should stay on Mars, on that root chakra. I wonder, does he go retrograde in Gemini? No, he does not. But he's going to debilitate in Cancer. Where's his retrograde this year? Let's just stay with Mars. Oh, please don't go retrograde in Pisces. I mean in Virgo. I don't want to see that. Come on, make it out of there. We ain't going to see another Mars retrograde for a while. This is actually good. Just keep going, little friend. Interesting. He's going to make it through the dance without going retrograde. It takes Mars about 2 years to make his cycle complete. We're going to get really lucky here. Come on, make it through Pisces. Don't. He's slowing down. Oh no. That's what's going to be the ramp up to the 2020 conjunction. Is when he goes retrograde in Pisces. Suicidal. Aggressive, murderous. It's just awful. Awful. And we're actually lucky that that's not happening right here. That he's not retrograde in Gemini. If this retrograde happened here on the mutable cross with this K2, Rahu, Saturn retrograde, Pluto retrograde, had Mercury been retrograde, you would see. It'd be like Jim Jones, where all them people are committing suicide. They'd be doing it in groups. And this is groupthink here. This is groupthink. So again, with this Saturn-Jupiter dance going on over here on the mutable cross, And Mars going retrograde here? Oh my. I can't begin to tell you how difficult the next few years are going to be. But there is a end to this darkness. The sun is going to come out. But that totally depends on the card we play in 2020. Just sitting there watching these two dance back and forth till we get to the conjunction and Saturn takes over. It depends on what state you're in when this occurs. And it's just, at this time, we still have Mars in Pisces, but he's not retrograde anymore. He come out of his retrograde, but he's still bipolar here. So you still have that division, that split, that opposite ends, that black and white. No gray area emotionally here. This talking about picking sides, and Jupiter loses here. Jupiter loses here. The moon is even powering him up, and he still can't win. Mars is powering him up, and he still can't win, because he's going down in Saturn's house. The Empire takes the biggest hit it could possibly take, and I can't even count how many ages. Empire takes a hit, and that is European Empire. It's the European Empire. They rule water. The three ages of water are Europe, Antarctica. That's why they're so dead set on thawing it out and blaming it on you and climate change, when we're just changing ages and it's a natural occurring event. They're trying to control it. It's their power hub. Their power is water. Their power is Pisces with Mercury. Their power is the moon. And their power is Jupiter, Mars, and the moon. They throw the Mercury in there because it is the answer to their problem. But it's also the destruction of them. It is their creation. It is their beginning and their end. It's that miry clay in the toes of iron. Iron ruled by Mars. And it just don't work. Iron is war and miry clay is commerce. They're making money off of war. And it's their downfall. That's where the priesthood loses control. They brought in, the bankers got the best of them. And it's all coming down. It's all falling down. Because it's all been a lie. It's all been illusion and delusion. They've had you worshiping baby Mercury. And he's a bit of a mama's boy. Not much backbone. All fake. God of Mammon. There you go. There's a word you ought to recognize. Money. Moony. It's silver coin is the money is here. The sun and the moon, the gold and the silver. Bad Company wrote a song called Give Me Silver, Blue and Gold. The colors of the sky, I'm told. My rainbow is overdue. Let's come back to today. Mars in Gemini. Bipolar. Can get melancholy, depressed, react, sudden reactions. While he's here, you need to transmute hermetically. Go within, meditate, calm yourself. Remember, this is the story of Esau and Jacob. Esau sells his birthright for a bowl of porridge. Remember, don't sell your birthright. Struggle through it. Don't run out and Mercury's combust. He's not going to help you out of this. The answer to this is where it's opposite. Saturn retrograde, Pluto retrograde. The moon's here now, and so is Rahu. You've basically got 3 malefics, and then here comes the moon powering it all up. The moon's just going to make you more emotional. It's just going to ramp up you emotionally. People are going to trigger you so easily. Can you stand? Saturn. Saturn, look, the teacher's out of the classroom. Are you going to join in? You're being watched. There's a camera on you. So what are you going to do? You're going to act like the teacher ain't retrograde. That's what you're going to do. You're going to act like Saturn's still in business. And you keep those restrictions that he would place there. You keep yourself in check. This is a test of the heart. When something hits the cardinal cross, that's the big test. And this is a test of the heart. What you got? Now, if you're at that place to where you're just emotionally broken and you're ready to give up, then simply just give up. There's no trigger to pull. The trick is you don't do anything. You don't pull the trigger. You just quit, let go, give up. Stop, let go of the reins of the horse and just let him run where he wants to. And he'll take you right where you need to go. But stop trying to drive. This is the time where you would say, Jesus, take the wheel. Because you don't know where to go or what to do. Then you do nothing. You stand your ground, or you just let go of the rope and fall. You take a leap of faith and you just fall off the edge. No matter what's at the bottom. No matter if there is no bottom. But if you will stop reacting to these triggered responses that are coming at you. And I know a lot of you are telling me, I don't have a reason to be sad. Yeah, you do. Mars is on the mutable cross. Everybody's got a reason to be sad. And there is no reason, because he's simply bipolar here. That energy switches from positive to negative, and it can't find that middle ground. That's where you come in. That's where you realize, look up to Saturn. You emanate Saturn. You become self-controlled. You take this heart over here that's in fire, being tested, and you walk through it unscathed. And you're going to come out the side a better person, a stronger person, more on the right path, not taking the left or the right, going straight up the center. And just stand. What is he said? You'll stand, and 1,000 will fall by your left, and 10,000 by your right. But there you stand. I made a statement to somebody. I was talking about how destructive the potential was for the rituals they're doing, and the person responded to me, well, you don't seem to be too concerned about it. I'm not. I'm not concerned at all. They do these rituals every freaking day. There are times they are bigger rituals. The sacrifice is more grand. But I know all that's coming to an end. And I know that sin has to come to a full. Look, in America, we don't have this balance and this harmony in our scales. Lady Justice is blindfolded. It's done on purpose, and the scales are off balance. They gave us this symbolism on purpose. There is no justice. It's blind. It's criminal justice. It's justice for the criminal. There is no justice for the victim. Never has been and never will be in this age. It's a mutable, transmutable age. It's not meant to be about justice. That's why it institutes mercy and grace. But those of you on my channel, you're already understand. You want to walk in the kingdom. You're done with this age. You're not even born into it. You're not part of it. You're in this age, world age, but you're not of it. You never were and you never will be. You were brought here to bring in the next stage. So get busy doing it. Stop letting this mutable age eat you up alive. Most of the people I've got on my channel are masters and grand masters. The mutable ones on the mutable cross, those of you who seem to be the most hungry when it should be the other way around. I'm glad to see that most of the people on my channel that are really, really hungry and really doing their homework, they tend to be on the mutable cross. Which is necessary. They need it the most. But I expected more from the cardinal. And now I do have a lot of cardinals on my channel. Matter of fact, a lot of Capricorns. And you're all leaders, teachers. That's what you're supposed to be doing. If you're Capricorn, you're supposed to be in service to others. And in serving them, you teach them. You lead them. You guide them. Those of you in Cardinal Fire should be teaching purification, not destruction. Those of you in Cardinal Water, this is about home, Mama's house, and that she is the destroyer. And what does Mama say? I brought you into this world and I can take you out. Well, there are many things we can bring into the world. We can bring in love or hate. But you can also, Cardinal Cross, take it out. And then you have Cardinal Air. The Most High. Wisdom. Get it with all you're getting. Get it, get it, get it. Proverbs. Seek knowledge. Then the understanding of that knowledge, so you can gain the wisdom on how to use it. But what's going on is YouTube is people, they come up with this knowledge and they have no understanding of it whatsoever. None. Zero. And they're putting this knowledge out there with no understanding, and it's very destructive. It's turned into this confusion, this horror, this amalgamation. They'll just sleep with anybody, get on any train, any religion, church hopping, religion hopping. That's what this age is about. Nobody's stable, unfixed, unmoved. I mean fixed, unmoved, unshakable. And that all starts with Mars. And what are you gonna do? Or not do? We need to bring that Lady Justice down and start getting our scales balanced and in harmony. They took this balance and this harmony away a long, long time ago. No balance, no harmony, just a poisonous. They took our great eagle and gave us a poisonous scorpion. You know what? I want to do this. I haven't talked about this on my other channel, and I don't know if I will. I think this just might be for you guys. The Pleiades is the flock. It's the sheep. They move into Aries, into the head of the beast. But in Aquarius, the sheep are here. Now, we translate this sheep, but it's always been flock. It was flock. And then they call the sheepfold the flock. This is not a sheepfold. This translation has never been sheep. We've been lied to. A flock is birds, the air sign. It's the birds, the birds, the birds, and the birds. Here's the bird. They never were sheep. They're frickin' birds. It's a bad translation. A ram has sheep. The birds that were enslaved as the flock came from the previous age of air. And they became slaves. And then they turned them into sheep and threw them to the wolves. But they're going to get their wings back because they never were sheep. They were always birds. And there's your phoenix. Interesting sigil they've got going on here, because this is almost like, let me show it to you. You have air. They have the air. It's got the line, which is the line there, and it's got this. So it's an air. You start with, this is fire. And so that's Aries, cardinal fire. You draw a line through it and it becomes fixed air. You draw the line, right? You draw the line in the sand. This is time, sands of time. You draw the line in the sand and it becomes the air sign. And if your enemy crosses the line, you get the Aleph and the Tau. That's what they've done here. I'm the Phoenix, I'm the Aleph, I'm the Tau. This is a symbol for this age coming. Then you have this one. Then you have that. These are all the same image. All the same sigil. But the flock never was sheep. It was always a flock of seagulls. You know, you have the sea and the air. You have the seagulls here. My mother's maiden name is C, S-E-A-Y. Old French family from her father. My father's last name is Hawkins. We're Seahawks. My brother actually works at the Seahawk Stadium. So he's a Seahawk. A water and an air. We call seagulls, where I come from in the South, along the Gulf Coast, we call them parking lot pigeons. They come into the parking lots like pigeons, trying to scavenger for food. So seagulls, flock of seagulls, are Seahawks. Take your pick. Parking lot pigeons, the new dove is going to be the seagull, or the Seahawk. Alright, I hope this has opened your eyes and ears to help you to really be able to hear and see a little bit better. Don't forget to take up your cross and follow the Master wherever he goes. It's why we're here. It's what we were told to do. The time is now. We're coming into this age. We are the ones that set forth and lay down the beginning of the next age. We are the beginning. We are the end of this age, and we are the beginning of the next age. So be what you were born to be. Get on the right cross. Don't be double-crossed. This program is free. The link is below. Download it. Put in your birthday. Just come over here and first hit the top one and put your city in here. And then put your birth date in here and take off. Your images are down here. You can, when you turn it on, it's going to look like this. It's going to look like that. That's what it's going to look like, depending on where your ground is. You turn off your atmospheres, your landscape, hit the little lightning bolt, and turn on your images, and you're good to go. Go find your cross. Go find what your real cross is, whether you're the adept who needs to become the master who needs to become the grandmaster, or the grandmaster who's not supposed to be the student, but the teacher, the leader. Get your roles straight. They recast everybody into a different script, putting you on a different cross, and they do that to change the times and the seasons. But we know what time it is on this channel, because we are in tune with the father of time himself, Saturn. Alright, and I'm speaking for Saturn. I'm a Capricorn, and I have Saturn, Mars, and the Sun in my first house. I am not going to be a nice teacher. I'm not supposed to be. The only reason I'm kind is because I've got my Venus right here in Aquarius, conjunct Fomalhaut with the Moon. All of my planets, except for Jupiter and Mercury, they're both on the mutable cross. Everything I have is right here. I'm going to speak to you because this is who I am. This is what I know. And my actions are exalted here with my Mars in my first house. I'm not going to be easy. I'm not just going to give you an 8. It's not going to happen. When I give you your cross, I'm going to give you your best potential. But this thing is duality, and you always have the choice to do the opposite or to do nothing. But this is actually an age of doing. It's the age of change. We've played this battle of fire and ice long enough. They're both done. As Saturn rules Aquarius and Capricorn, he outranked, you will have no need of the sun or the moon, for I am with you. We'll have all this knowledge of the sun and the moon in these 2 ages. What their true purpose is, what they're really supposed to be doing. Their portals, their energy centers, their power structures. They're the masculine and the feminine. And we will come into all of that knowledge. Not the corrupted crap we're given now, but the true King's Dome. That reminds me of, excuse me, I gotta stretch. Chester's Mill under the dome. Don't forget, pink stars are falling. Pink is Mercury. He's the pinky finger. And he rules the whore of Babylon. I consider this Hollywood. This is Hollywood, whore of Babylon. She'll get in the bed with anybody. But this is Mercury here. That's that baby Mercury. And they have made him, because he has masculine here and feminine here, they make him gay. That is the story of this age, and it's told to you in the Rocky Horror Picture Show. From beginning to end, it is Frankenstein or Frankenfurter's castle. He has the false phallic. He's trying to make himself a man with blonde hair and a tan. That's just grand, but it ain't gonna work, because the next age, The blonde man from Europe is done. This age is the age of air and the age of the red man. Esau sold his birthright over here. Not this one. This one sold out for nothing. He gave it all. He gave it all for this mutable age, to bring the flock that had been enslaved in the earth and then turned into sheep led to the slaughter, are finally going to get their wings back and become the true heirs to the throne.